Hey everybody, I'm Marbozir and welcome back to Let's Play Shadowrun Hong Kong. So, let's continue where we left off. I'm back on the boat, just to make things a little bit faster. I bought the outfit from the monk. It has 3 armor instead of 1. That's it. Other than that, I will be saving my money, for now. So, before we go pick up the mission, let's talk with a few people. Actually, first, we can go down and meet a guy that will join us, I think. Yeah, this guy. Apparently he will join us. It's oppressively hot down here, and the air is full of synthetic odors that grab you by the sinuses and refuse to let go. You can smell engine grease and melting plastic, ionized air, and lead solder. A quick scan of the room tells you why. The downstairs tenant has covered this space into a machine shop. Metal fabrication tools and Duraplast extruders line the walls, and a pair of heavy industrial manipulators hang from the ceiling. A man in a black trench coat stands with his back to you, staring at a monitor mounted above a sturdy workbench. He addresses you without turning. "Ah, I was wondering when I'd meet the new neighbor." His voice is pleasant, cultured. There's a hint of a Russian accent there, but it's buried under layers of nuance. "Please, stay where you are. I'll be with you in just a moment, and unless you fancy an unplanned trip to Chrome Alley, don't touch anything. There are all manner of tools in here that could take your hand clean off. Take your time, thanks for the warning." Yeah, thanks for the warning. "Don't mention it. I have no interest in seeing anyone hurt in my shop, especially not my upstairs neighbor." Try to see what's on screen, examine the robotic arms mounted to the ceiling. You focus on the enormous manipulator arms that you saw earlier. They're bulky industrial things, dented from years of heavy use. Each arm has been fitted with at least a dozen different welders, soldering guns, extruders, and metal fabrication tools. You've seen machinery like this in factories before, but they look terribly out of place in the bolt holes, cramped engine room. "Very good, yes, that's coming along nicely. Very nicely indeed." He turns towards you, smiling, and for the first time you can see his face. He has broadly handsome Slavic features and a chiseled jaw. His eyes are like flakes of ice. "So sorry to have kept you waiting, Mr. Hulk. It's no problem, don't worry about it." "You're too kind. Now tell me, what can I do for—" His voice trails off as a flash of motion catches his eye. With alarming speed, a sinister-looking drone scuttles out from under the work table. Its movements are surprisingly agile and fluid. The machine rears back menacingly, spreading its forelegs in a clear sign of aggression. The man's smile tilts, and his tone goes apologetic. "Please, don't mind the drone. He can be territorial, but so long as you remain civil, he will not bite." He extends a hand. Simultaneously, the drone relaxes into a neutral position, lowering its killing legs. "Ractor, my mechanical counterpart here is called Koshei." Shake his hand, a pleasure. Slap him 5, refuse to shake. His hand is rough and abnormally warm to the touch. He shakes your hand with a solid grip. "I am very pleased to meet you, my friend. In a community such as Hioi, it's important to be on good terms with one's neighbors." "Agreed. Speaking of which, I'd like to ask you some questions, if you have the time." "Absolutely. I don't have time to chat just now. Yeah, let's have a chat." He glances at the bracer on his forearm. A technical display winks to life, then gutters out. "Very well. This morning's casting should still be calling for a few minutes yet. That's time enough to talk." When you said, "Are you Russian?" I thought I caught a hint of an accent there. "You've got some interesting machinery in here, not the kind that you typically see outside of corporate settings." He smiles. "The same could be said of many in Hioi, I'm sure. This is a smuggler's den, is it not? Our entire economy is based on people having things that they shouldn't. Is there a particular device that interests you, out of curiosity?" "The robotic arms that you've got over there. They look like something taken from an automotive assembly plant." His smile flashes brilliantly in the light. "Good guess. That's precisely what they are. They fell off a boat, you might say. They weren't cheap, but I acquired them and had them mounted to the walls of my shop. I simply had to have them. The return on investment has been dramatic. Yes, they're cruder by far, and the world of devices that I used in my professional life, but they do the job and they are mine. He gazes lovingly at the industrial arms, still smiling. They have increased my fabrication capabilities nearly tenfold, and that, to me, is worth any price. Okay? Are you Russian? He nods. You have a good ear, I'm impressed. Yes, I grew up in Nizhny Novgorod, went to school there, started my career in the industrial sector. A fairly common story, I'm sure. But I have also traveled a great deal, and in so doing, I have absorbed a number of other languages and dialects. How many languages do you speak? If you were born and raised in Russia, what brings you to Hong Kong now? Okay. How many languages do you speak? Counting Russian and Cantonese, 15. He shrugs apologetically. It shames me to admit that I'm only literate in 12, however. That's still impressive. You're either way too hard on yourself or acting ashamed to cover up the fact that you're bragging. Why bother learning all of that? Yeah, that's still impressive. Perhaps, when compared to the common man. But I've known a great many polyglots who can, and do, put me to shame. Arabic has been a particular bugbear of mine. The unfamiliar characters and lack of vowels make it damned tricky to get a handle on. But I suppose that all men have their limits. Okay? When you said this morning's casting, what did you mean? Exactly what I said. A casting that I made of a new locomotive assembly for Koshei. A biomimetic design, as you can see. This one is inspired by the walking legs of a decapod crustacean, the mangrove crab, to be specific. You're designing drone parts in here. He nods. And fabricating them, yes. How did you learn to do that? More training and experience than I care to mention. Drone architecture was once my profession, you see. Now it's more of a calling, one that I'm free to pursue. And now that I've freed myself from the shackles of corporate servitude. Okay? Koshei is an interesting name for a drone. Yes, I suppose that it is. Not many riggers would name their most prized possession after a villain from a fairy tale. And not to my heritage, I suppose. Etiquette academic. Yes, I know the story you're talking about. His smile widens. Oh, how marvelous. I hadn't thought to meet anyone versed in Russian classics here in Hioi. I've studied. If memory serves, Koshei the Deathless was an immortal villain and a kidnapper of women. He nods. Indeed, he was those things. But it was not Koshei's misdeeds that drew me to the name. I suppose that it was the notion of immortality through cleverness that resonated with me. There was something to be learned from that, I am sure. I was sure. And so, when it came time to name my beloved creation, his was the first name that came to mind. And is your drone deathless like its namesake? In a manner of speaking, I suppose that he is. I have redundant copies of every piece of his architecture, and his core programming is stored on disk in a secret location. Should he ever suffer critical damage, I can easily bring him back. I had a plan, once, to automate the self-repair process. I must confess, I was really quite ingenious, but alas, my research was lost. One day I will reclaim it, and Koshei will become as deathless as the stories claim. But it will not be today. You said that you used to work for a corporation whose payroll were you on. Keeping all this machinery running can't be cheap. How can you afford it? Freelance. At the risk of sounding immodest, I've commodified myself rather well. There are always corporations in need of design consultations. You'd be surprised by how lucrative such work can be. And there is always other work that I can turn to in a pinch. You said that you used to work for a corp? That is something of a sore subject. My departure was involuntary, you see. I did not part ways with my employer under the best of terms. I will tell you that I worked for the Grecian Aviacorps, but you'll forgive me if I don't want to go into detail. Okay? You said that you did other work besides consulting. Care to tell me what kind? He pauses, and for a second something flashes in his eye. Koshei lowers his body into a crouch. A rather personal question, wouldn't you say? Maybe. But then we're having a personal conversation. Indeed we are, but even in personal conversations, certain topics can be held off limits. Truth be told, I don't feel especially comfortable discussing my side work with relative strangers. Suffice it to say that my freelance activities often fall on the illicit end of the spectrum. Tell you what, I'm just going to guess. You're a Shadowrunner, aren't you? He gives you a shallow nod. I dislike the term, but yes, I run the shadows. What gave me away? Your drone. People on the up and up don't build murder bots for fun. Nothing in particular. Design consultants live in apartments in Victoria Harbor. You're living in a rusted out boat in Hioi. There's gotta be reason for that. Let's go with the first one. The drone. He shakes his head slightly, a sad look on his face. Such a reductive assessment. I assure you, you're selling my little counterpart quite short. Koshei is combat capable, very much so, but that is far from his only purpose. Koshei scuttles forward, his glowing red eyes low to the ground. Light glints off of the metal of its armored chassis. Ractor runs a hand over the drone's killing legs, caressing the sculpted metal with his fingertips. That being said, I cannot deny that Koshei's aptitude for butchery is important to my work. Should you ever get the opportunity to see him in action, you will understand why. Seems like everybody on this boat runs the shadows. Why not pool our resources and work together? He pursues his lips, considering. A compelling offer. I'm doing quite well on my own, but I must admit that there are certain jobs for which I am unsuited. Magic eludes me, and I'm not a decker. My strengths come from the material objects in the real world, solid things with mass and heft, things that I can build and operate. Sadly, a great many clients are only interested in teams that display a mastery over the intangible. This group of yours, do you have people who can cover those bases? If so, then perhaps we can help each other out. How can you not already know that? You live right beneath our feet. Yes, we have a shaman and a decker, both competent at their jobs. We've got a former security expert. I guess that's the best way to describe Duncan. Let's go with shaman and the decker. In that case, I will accept your offer on a provisional basis. We'll do a few runs together and see how we get on. If our association bears fruit, it will continue. If not, I will bid you my farewell and go back to working alone. How does that sound? Welcome aboard! Very good, excellent. When you receive a job, you know where to find me. My skills and resources are at your disposal. And with that, I'm afraid that I must bid you good day. I still have work to do down here. This leg assembly won't clean itself. Alright, so that's that. We got a new dude. Is there anything else to see in here? Not a whole lot. Alright, nothing to see here. Let's go back upstairs then, and we can maybe talk with Duncan, Isabelle, and Gobbit before we pick up our next job. Let's have a chat then. So, Duncan. Let's have a chat with Duncan. Wolf's cabin appears to be the only clean spot on the bolt hole. His equipment is neatly laid out on his bedding, grouped by type, arranged just so. He is cleaning his weapon with meticulous care. Well, that's that, I guess. We're runners now. Yep, think it's time to catch up. I forgot to ask about benefits. Think we get medical and dental care? I don't think so. Something on your mind, gun show. He doesn't like that name. Think it's time to catch up. Could be. He stops for a moment, stares at the weapon in his hand. That's why I'm maintaining my equipment. It helps me focus my brain, work through stuff. He sighs, lowers the rifle. Now's a good time. Now's as good time as any, I guess. Where do you want to start? I want to talk about Raymond. Yep, let's talk about Raymond. Okay, shoot. What do you think is going on with him? I don't know, Liang. He was clearly obsessed with the walled city and whatever prosperity is. He sounds like a sleepwalker trying to stumble his way through a dream or something. A sleepwalker who hires Shadowrunners from Triad bosses. Raymond was smart. Smart as hell. I'm sure he had a reason for using Kindly Cheng as a fixer. Okay. Why do you think he came to Hong Kong? Did he say anything about me after I left? You know Raymond, Liang. He taught us what he wanted to teach us. Told us what he wanted us to know. Everything else was met with a wall of good-natured silence. He used to say, "You are the master of the unspoken word, Mr. Wu. Once it is out of your mouth, it is out of your control." So no, after you left, he never said a word about you. Not a word. Why do you think he came to Hong Kong? Well, he's from here, right? It sounds like he had unfinished business that he needed to take care of before. You think he's dying? Well, I don't know. Yeah, me either. Just something to think about. Let's talk about something else. So let's talk about being Shadowrunners. What's there to say? I worked my ass off to pull myself out of the gutter and make something of my life. I did what it took to earn my bronze, and now I'm a mercenary, hiding in the shadows of a foreign country, doing dirty jobs that the corps need to keep off the books. It's the reverse of everything I ever wanted. You seem to be taking to it pretty damn well, so let me ask you something. You said you thought that Raymond was alive too, that we'd run the shadows until we could figure out what happened to him. Was that true? Yes, for me this is all about finding out what really happened to Raymond. Well, it's true. We do want to find out what happened to Raymond. Wu nods, clearly satisfied. Good that we're on the same page. I feel better knowing that. What's your opinion of Kindly Cheng? I'd say she's got us right where she wants us, right under her thumb. What do you want to talk about specifically? Okay. We should keep an eye on Strangler Bao. We should keep an eye on everybody, and that guy is definitely no exception. I've seen plenty of cold killers in the Barrens, and plenty more since I joined Lone Star. This guy's the real deal. I'm not sure if he knows what the word remorse even means. You should steer clear of him. Screw that guy. Don't tell me how to live. Yeah, screw that guy. I'm just trying to watch your back, since you don't appear to be doing a very good job of it. What do you think she wants from us? As long as her network keeps delivering information about Raymond, I don't care. At least for now. We need to stay with her. We have no other connections in Hong Kong. Without her, we're dead in the water. You think we can trust her? Well, probably not. She's a Triad boss. A Triad boss and underground fixer? No, I don't think we can trust her. But as long as we all share the same goals, we should be okay. Makes sense. As long as we serve her interests, she doesn't have a reason to screw us over. Exactly. It's simple. She provides jobs, we do jobs. She gets info about Raymond and that plastic-faced man, and we figure out what the hell is going on. We figure out what's going on. She doesn't end up in the trunk of a car at the bottom of the river. Everybody wins. What's this about plastic-faced men? Creepy dudes are nothing new to me. Even well-dressed, creepy corporate dudes. Between the gangsters we grew up with and the shit that I've run into as a cop, I've seen all kinds. I just want to know who he is and who he works for. Let's talk about something else. Sure, if you want. I can't get that dream I had out of my head. You said you had one too, right? Yeah, yours sounded like a nasty one. I don't remember much about mine. I was pretty creeped out by a run into the walled city. Between that and all the drama, I'd be surprised if I didn't have a nightmare. He shrugs. Was the walled city in your dream? Of course the walled city was in my dream. It was a nightmare, wasn't it? He gives you a lopsided grin. Was it in your dream too? Sure looked like it. I'm not sure I'm surprised. The walled city is more than just another slum in a sprawl. Hell, it is a sprawl. Of course we dreamed about it. The feeling I had there has stayed with me. It felt thick, heavy, And I got this overwhelming feeling of, I don't know, wretchedness, I guess. What do you remember about yours? Did it feel any different from other nightmares you've had? He takes his time, thinks about his answer a bit before he responds. You know how sometimes you'll be mad at a friend in a dream and then wake up still mad at him? Then you treat him like he did something wrong when you see him? It kinda feels like that to me, like I dreamed I was swimming towards a bright light when I woke up I was out of breath from the effort. What do you remember about yours? Just little snatches of things. He puts his hands on his hips and concentrates. The walled city was breathing, and it had teeth everywhere. And there was a tunnel that was so bright that I had to shut my eyes. And Raymond was there. He was either kneeling or lying down, I can't remember which, but he was crying. That's what made me wake up, the sound of my father crying. Let's talk about something else. Let's talk about Gobbit and Isabelle. They seem competent, considering how young they are, but then again, they sound like they've been taking care of themselves since they were pretty young. The three of us work together in the walled city. The three of us work together well in the walled city. Based on that, I'd bet the four of us would make a solid crew. Do you trust them? As far as I trust any runner, yeah. It's like Raymond used to say, trust and verify. They haven't given me a reason not to trust them, so until they do, I'll believe what they say and keep my eyes open. Let's talk later. Later's good. I wanna do some cardio, work off some steam. Then it's rack time for me. You should do the same, Liang. A couple hundred push-ups would do you good. I don't think so, Duncan, but hey, knock yourself out. Please, I could bust out 200 in my sleep. He raises an eyebrow. I'd love to see that sometime, but for now, you should clear out. I wanna get started, and this cabin isn't big enough for two. Okay, well, let's go talk with Gobbit and Isabelle, perhaps? Here's Isabelle. She's tiny compared to us. Isabelle's cabin is an exercise in controlled chaos. Her living space is utterly dominated by an enormous jury-rigged computer. Serpentine cables snake from component to component, tying dozens of obsolete terminals and cyberdecks together into a single colossal machine. Sounds like a fun place. This is my personal machine. If you're looking for your mission computer, it's downstairs. She doesn't bother looking up. You can see that she's elbow deep in the guts of an obsolete cyberdeck, one of a half dozen that have been wired into her computer with braided cables. Actually, I was hoping to talk to you. Got a second? There is a long pause, then she chirps out a response. We're talking now, aren't we? I guess so, yeah. Can I ask a few questions? She leans in, scrutinizing the innards of the obsolete deck. Go ahead, I'm not stopping you. That's quite a machine you're working on. Care to tell me about it? She's my pet project. I call her the octopus. She waves a hand at the tangle of thick power cables that radiate out from the machine's central core. You might be able to guess why. Did you do all of this yourself? Impressive work. How well does it perform? She's a monster. She yanks a fried chip from the deck's motherboard and neatly sets it aside, then fumbles in a nearby bin for a replacement. An absolute blast. What is this thing made of? Whatever I can find. Busted terminals, obsolete cyberdecks, aftermarket memory from Maximum Loss dumpster. Scavengers would kill for this stuff in the walled city. But out here, people throw it away. She chuckles to herself as she eases a card into an empty expansion slot. Most deckers are early adopters. They buy whatever is newest, shell out huge amounts of nuyen in hopes of riding the bleeding edge. Stupid. It's an arms race. Deckers do what they have to do. Why? Because I can have 5 of last year's model for a quarter the price of that whiz new cyberdeck. And after I've finished daisy chaining them together, the machine that I've built will run circles around hot new deck. Yeah, and you'll need a flatbed truck to carry it. Do we look like we're hurting for space to you? She rummages in a bin to her left and pulls out a stick of solid-state memory. It disappears into the deck that she's working on. I've got a whole boat to work with. Your cabin included, if I told Gobbit I needed it. You wouldn't. Be my guest, I wouldn't mind. A long pause, huh? Well, I was joking, but if you're really okay with it, I might someday. We'll see. Okay, can we talk about the ambush at Victoria Harbor? I'd rather not. I lost friends there. Duncan and I didn't come out of the attack unscathed either. They shot Carter down, same as your friends. You didn't seem too torn up about it at the time. Well, it's true, they also shot Carter. Was she your friend? You didn't seem that close. She returns her attention to the octopus, turning her back on you. You don't like talking about things other than your computer very much, do you? Any thoughts about that last run? I wasn't there, remember? So for me, it was pretty much like any other night. I spent the evening tooling around on the octopus. Right, well... You don't like talking about things other than your computer very much, do you? There is a long pause before she responds. When she does, she sounds vaguely hurt. I prefer not to. Nothing personal. It's just the way that I am. There's nothing wrong with that. I just want to know who I'm running with. Don't you? Yes. You're still a mystery to me. There is a long pause. I don't like mysteries, but I do enjoy solving them. She turns, gives you her full attention. So here's what we're going to do. I'm gonna ask you a question. Something personal. After you've given me an answer, you get to ask me something. Think of it like a game of questions. We take turns until one of us wants to quit. Deal? Deal. You go first. She studies your face. We'll start off easy. Tell me what you really think about Duncan. Okay? I love and respect the man, his family. He can be a pain in the ass, but he's like a brother to me. We're old friends who drifted apart, that's all. Well, he can be a pain in the ass, but he's like a brother. Let's go with this one. Interesting. Her eyes flit to the doorway of Gobbit's cabin. The corner of her mouth tilts upward into a slight smile. And a little familiar. Well, you've answered my question. I guess that makes it your turn. Okay. Let's see. You grew up in the walled city, right? Tell me about that. That's not a topic she likes too much from what I remember, but let's ask about that anyway. She fidgets. I'd rather not talk about it. Ask me something else. Yeah, I knew it. Okay. I need to know about the walled city, and you're a resident expert. Why won't you tell about it? Well, we can ask that later, some other time. Let's go for something else. How did you and Gobbit meet? Her brow furrows, and after a moment, she screws her eyes shut. We met as kids, in the walled city. My prison was her playground. Okay, well... You okay? Did I touch her nerve? I'm sorry if that was uncomfortable. Well, we had no idea that this will be about the walled city as well. No, it isn't that. I'll be fine. I just have a hard time remembering those days. My childhood is kind of a blur. And that would make it my turn. She pauses, considering. So tell me, what was your connection to Raymond Black? Okay. He was my benefactor and mentor. I respected him. He was like a father to me and Duncan. He got us out of the Barrens. Yep. In that case, I'm sorry for your loss. Losing the ones that you love is hard. Your turn. Ask me a question and I'll give you an answer. Well, how long have you been running the Shadows? That's a good question. I guess about 4 years now? A decent stretch by anyone's reckoning. And that brings us back to my turn. You enjoy it, don't you? Living like this. Working the Shadows. Yeah, Raymond Black was wrong. This is what I was born to do. No, I left this shit behind when Raymond pulled me out of the Barrens. I want my old life back. This is survival. I do what I have to do. Enjoyment doesn't come into it. Okay. Well, let's go with the survival option. She blinks. We may have more in common than I'd thought. Your turn again. Go ahead, ask me something. Where did you learn to deck? The Wampoa. I lived there for a while after escaping the walled city. The people there were difficult. We didn't get along, but it was a great place to learn. My turn again. And I think my last question for you. You're stuck here, marooned. You and Duncan both. He's obviously unhappy with the situation. He keeps going on about the things that he left behind. But what about you? Is there anything that you want to get back to? Nothing worth mentioning, truth be told, I'm enjoying the change of scenery. Yeah, I left something important behind my entire life. Let's go with the first option. Yeah, truth be told, I'm enjoying the change of scenery. Nothing? There isn't anything about your old life that you'll miss. I don't know whether to envy you or feel sorry for you. She glances down at the clock on her desk, an antique model with physical hands that looks like it was wrenched out of a submarine. A frown spreads across her face. Shit, it's even later than I thought, and I've got a long way to go before the octopus is fixed. Okay, oh, you owe me one more question. Well, she does, actually. Aren't you forgetting something? She stops in place, fidgets. If you've got another question, go ahead and ask, but be quick about it. I know that you don't want to talk about your childhood, but I need to learn more about the walled city. Why? Because Raymond Black wanted to go in there, and somebody destroyed my life to keep him from doing that. Yep, that's true. Her cheeks flush, just like they did the last time. She averts her eyes. No. I'm sorry, but no. Later maybe, but not now. Alright, maybe next time. Please excuse me, I have work to do. So that's that, let's have a chat with Gobbit. And then we can go check the mission computer. Gobbit's nest is pretty much what you'd expect. Piles of clothes on the ground and overflowing garbage bins surrounded by stacks of instant noodle packets and towers of tinned oysters. Avant-garde posters haphazardly thumbtacked to the walls, overlapping in some places and peeling in others. It feels a lot like an art school dorm room. Gobbit reclines in a corner, cradling a bowl of soup in her hands. At her feet, a cast-iron pot simmers away on an electric hot plate. The contents are typical Hong Kong comfort food: chicken-style soya broth, elbow macaroni, tinned ham, and a heaping scoop of egg-flavored mycoprotein. As you wind your way through the piles of dirty laundry, Gobbit slowly lifts her head from her bowl to acknowledge you. Heya, Seattle. How's tricks? They'd be a lot better if you'd stop calling me Seattle. Can't you come up with something better than that? My entire life just got erased, and the cops want me dead. I'm doing great. You? Oh, everything's just ducky over here. My friends are dead. I'm on my boss's shit list because of it. And I can't even eat a bowl of soup in peace. So it's all good, Seattle. I'm happy as a clam, just like you are. Now, you wanna tell me what you're doing in my bedroom. I'm assuming you're not here to admire the view. Okay. If you're up to talking about it, I wanted to go over the ambush back on the docks with you. Yeah, I figured you would. That was a hell of a thing, right? I'd go a little further than that. It was a clusterfuck of epic proportions. Okay, that's the only proper answer here. She nods. Yeah, that it was. Nightjar and Gutshot were two of the strongest men I've ever known. Quality Shadowrunners, both of them. I've watched those two fight for situations that would kill anyone and come out on top. And how do they go out? Bang bang, dead dead, no blaze of glory, no final speech, just extinguished, smashed like bugs. They went quick and clean. We should all be so lucky. We would have gone the same way if you hadn't gotten us out of there. Well, it's true. She absent-mindedly raises her bowl to her shoulder. A rat crawls over the slope of her back and lowers its head to lap at the broth. It was more rat than me. She's the one who grabbed me by the gut and led us to that sewer entrance. All that I did was follow. Okay? Any thoughts about that last run? Don't remind me. That place is every bit as foul and screwed up as I remember it. If you ever want to drag me back there, you'd better have a damn good reason for it. I have to say, I'm impressed with how you handled the run. None of the Yellow Lotus soldiers died, and Kindly's not the kind of person to forget little details like that. Getting on her bad side is a great way to get a fast ride into an early grave, so it's good you stepped lightly on this one. So, what else did you want to chat about? Okay, do you always let your rats drink out of your own bowl? She shrugs. Sure, why not? We're all part of the same nest. Is that hygienic? Probably not. But I've never gotten sick, so... How did you decide on the name Gobbit anyway? I didn't. She pops a noodle into her mouth and chews. My mom did. So Gobbit is your given name. Your mother named you after a wad of meat. She shrugs. Yeah, sure. I didn't think she knew what it meant. She just thought that it sounded pretty. You should get used to that, by the way. People here in Hong Kong like to stand out, and choosing unique names is one of the ways that they do it. I'd like to learn more about Rat. What kind of totem is she? She slurps thoughtfully at her soup. A clever one. She's gotten me out of more trouble than I care to mention. Gotten me into a fair amount of it too. But I can always count on her to lead me out of hot water when I need her. I can feel it in my belly, you know. Sort of a tugging sensation. I've long since learned to follow it. I wasn't aware that totems took such direct control of their shamans. Usually they don't. Me and Rat, we have sort of a special bond. She takes care of me, and I've always done my best to take care of her. And to pamper her earthly children, like these two. Meet madness and folly. Hey. Interesting choice of names. Are they just normal rats then? I thought they might have been spirits or something. Nope, just rats. Don't trust Folly. She bites. Okay? You seem pretty comfortable with all of this. Been running in the shadows for a while? A long time. Started when I was just a kid. Yeah? I gather you've seen a lot of action then? Plenty. Been in more firefights than I can count. You're pretty new at this. You and Duncan both. It shows. What you need is a wizened mentor, an experienced runner, from whose experience you can benefit. I'm thinking that might as well be me. You aren't wizened, Gobbit. Back in Seattle, you couldn't even order a drink without a fake ID. Sure, why not? I could use the advice, and I don't see Isabelle volunteering for the job anytime soon. You're in? Good. Starting the next time you visit, I'm gonna teach you all about being a Shadowrunner. You're gonna benefit from my bountiful experience. Wait and see. Lucky me. Gobbit stretches, stifles a yawn. Her rats scurry from her shoulders down to her hips. She taps the simmering pot on the floor with her boot. The soup inside has reduced down into thick, viscous gravy. You know, Seattle, this has been a nice chat and all, but it's getting late, and I still have the rest of a hot pot to power through. So, without wanting this to get awkward, she glances toward the door. Okay, well... Oh, come on, we were just getting started. Say no more. Yeah, you too. Alright, so that's done. Let's go back and check the mission computer. There it is. Let's have a look. Your workstation and the mission computer. The cool blue tones of the workstation's main menu fill the screen. A blinking message in the upper right corner notifies you that you have 600 messages. That's a lot of unread messages. Okay, check the inbox. Welcome to Hioi. From Kindly Cheng. Hulk, on behalf of your friends at the Hioi Chamber of Commerce and the Swift Winds Mahjong Parlor, I welcome you to the community of Hioi and to our new business venture. I have already lined up 3 jobs for you. The details of each are contained in a separate computer message. Remember to check your messages often, as I will update you with new opportunities as they occur. You have 500 messages. So these are the 3 missions, I assume. From Isabelle. Hey Hulk, I've set up your mission computer to automatically collect and collate news reports, information and media that might be of interest to you. Some of the keywords I've got it trolling for are things like Raymond, Duncan, Walled City, etc. I've also patched in a permanent link to the Hong Kong shard of the Shadowrun's BBS. It's a great place to connect with other runners, sell pay data, get news from the street and so on. Don't be shy about taking a look. Resources from Bao. I have been instructed to inform you of the various suppliers present in Hioi. Auntie Cheng has cultivated a commercial district of well-stocked and trustworthy vendors. Whoever you choose to do business with, you will be in good hands. Ermin Kafai at Club 88 is an excellent resource for acquiring additional weapons, should you require any. If you are in need of magical supplies, go to the Parlor of 5 Phases. If you desire training in the path of the Adept, seek out Spider Shen. Yeah, we already know about all of this. Chrome Alley can supply you with cybernetic enhancements and medical supplies. Oh yeah, I haven't checked that place. Okay. 10-armed Ambrose is a cyber surgeon of some repute. Laos Techno Palace is a 1-1 run supplier of the local decking community. The place is hard to miss. Just look for a sign glowing in the sky. If you need drones, reliable Matthews Robot Bazaar is your best bet, and I pity you. Best of luck in the shadows. As fresh meat, you are likely to need it. You have 300 messages. Alright, well, I assume these are the missions, so we're going to check that out in the next part. Thanks for watching this one, and I'll see you next time.